testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text ROCK to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text ROCK to 42424. That's ROCK to 42424.
Money issues? There's someone local you can talk to. Financial Coaching Radio with certified financial planner Jason Qualls. Weekdays at 4 on News Radio WGNS. The Good Neighbor Network, FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and online at WGNSradio.com. This is the Roundtable. A look at the news, views, politics, and people that are shaping Rutherford County.
Good morning. This is Bill Kraus on the Roundtable on a Thursday morning. Going to get a little cooler today. I think maybe fall has ultimately decided to come to Rutherford County. We're very, very pleased to have with us a gentleman who is certainly one of the people that makes the city go. He has a very, very interesting background. He's our city manager for the city of Murfreesboro, Craig Tindell. Craig, good morning.
Good morning, Bill.
I always like to start out to find out the background of our guests. And you were born where, schooled where, and your professional background is very fascinating.
Well, let's see. I was born in Louisville. My family's from Louisville.
Oh, okay.
And then we, when I was pretty young, lived in Hendersonville. We lived in outside of Memphis. And then before high school, kind of moved to Arizona, to Phoenix area.
Mm-hmm.
And
you didn't mind the heat in July?
I did.
Oh, okay.
Not when I was young. And
yes.
when you're young, you don't have any idea.
You can take anything.
But yeah, as the older you get, the harder it is to take. But,
right.
Then I went to high school in Phoenix area, and then ASU as undergrad,
Mm-hmm.
Arizona State University. I should be more specific. Arizona State University as undergrad, and then we moved.
Was your major political science?
My major was finance.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually had a finance major in the School of Business there.
Mm-hmm.
Met my wonderful wife in Phoenix.
She's an Arizonian?
She is actually a native of Phoenix, which there's more and more now, but at one time, because of all the people moving into Phoenix,
right.
It was you didn't meet too many natives, but she was a native Phoenician. And then we were married, and a little bit shortly after that, we moved to Dallas, and I went to law school at Southern Methodist University,
Mm-hmm.
SMU. And,
did you have a particular emphasis in law school, or what you wanted to be as an attorney?
Well, in law school you don't emphasize too much, but I did really focus a lot of classes on the business program and tax, and
Mm-hmm.
then graduated. Got out. We moved back to Phoenix, and then I did litigation for about 12 years. Not what I thought I'd do.
What particular area?
We did actually one of the things that kept me the busiest is I represented a couple different railroads, Southern Pacific and University.
You were on the right track.
Yeah. So I did Southern Pacific and United Pacific for about 10 years, and then did some other work, and then moved to city government in 2001.
In Arizona.
Arizona, became city manager of a city outside of Phoenix, suburb Glendale, Arizona, and then we proceeded to build 3 major professional sports facilities out there.
Yes.
So I was involved in the teams that put those together. Which was very, very interesting.
Does that mean you're going to bring a team to Murfreesboro?
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
No. We talked a little bit about a minor league team here, and
Major league, possibly.
Major league. Well, Nashville's looking at a major league team, so that's close, but
exactly.
Not necessarily in Murfreesboro. We don't know too much about that one yet. The leagues take a while to make sure that that's all going to work. So, and then. Did that for about 12 years. Then a little short time in private practice. Then joined the Arizona Coyotes, the NHL team there for about 2 years, and then decided we'd do something different. Had two boys, put them in the college, put them in universities, and looked around and decided that
Come back to Tennessee.
we'd come back to Tennessee, and we've enjoyed it immensely since.
You've been in Murfreesboro since 2018?
2016, and I should correct. I was the city attorney. I said city manager. You know,
Okay.
when you over the time, it's getting
They interrelate.
Yeah, they are blunt, but yeah, city attorney for Glendale, not city manager. I came to let's see, in 2015, joined Murfreesboro as their city attorney, and did that until June of 2018, and became city manager.
Which is not a normal path for city management coming through the law, but it's certainly a good foundation. I think it's an excellent foundation.
Well, it depends on who you ask. But
Well, that's true. That's true.
but
That's true.
I tend to think that it can be helpful. I mean, we have a legal department, and I
Exactly.
try and stay out of practicing the law as much as I possibly
You don't
can.
feel like playing a quarterback.
Yeah, so we have a legal department that takes care of the legal needs of the city, and then I try and focus on the administrative side.
Well, the big story, at least this week that I saw in the news, was that Murfreesboro was identified as the 16th fastest growing city in the United States. How did you react to that?
Yes, well, we of course were aware of that, not necessarily the number so much as that we were very fast growing, because we spend a tremendous amount of time trying to stay on top of that growth.
Exactly.
So we feel the effect of that every single day, and we're pretty aware of that. When somebody goes out and does the math and comes up with the numbers, then it validates what we're spending our time on so much. So yeah, the 16th, it was good to see that to a certain extent, and we're proud that we continue to grow, because it is an indication that people do want to be here. They can identify it as a great place to live, which it truly is.
Well, the beauty is of Murfreesboro, growth is good if it's quality growth.
Yes.
If it's just suddenly massive development all over without any reason or rhyme,
Right.
it can become a headache. Murfreesboro is to be highly complimented on the management of its growth, and I think that in itself just really reflects. However, we had a couple of weeks ago Dr. Sullivan from Rutherford County Schools, and the problems and challenges they have trying to keep up with their capital growth, building the number of schools required over the next 5 to 10 years is a real significant. I think they're at bonding limits right now, so they really don't have a source they could just bond again to build the necessary elementary, middle, and high school campuses.
Yeah, it's that's daunting when you start to talk about education. Of course, in Murfreesboro, we have a dual system of schools. We have
Right.
our own city school system, which is K through 6. And
Well, Dr. Duke will be on in a few weeks.
Dr. Duke's a good man.
Yes.
Dr. Sullivan's a good man. They're
very
excellent
fortunate
leaders.
This county has some of the top educational leaders and some of the top municipal leaders.
Yes, but the Dr. Sullivan and Dr. Duke have worked together in the past, and so their relationship is very important to us, because obviously we're feeding into their high school systems, and we both face the challenges of a tremendous amount of growth, and we work together. Where they don't always build schools in the city; they build them in the county,
Right.
And so we've worked to supply sewer systems to the school systems, which is a huge cost reduction to them,
Exactly.
because they don't have to buy the land to deal with that type of situation.
How is your capacity on, for example, fire stations, sewage, water? Are you pretty much moving ahead with the capacity to respond to growth?
As much as we possibly can. One of our major limitations right now is water, and when I say that, coming from Arizona,
Exactly.
it's the opposite side. So in Arizona we really struggle to find water.
I remember
and
the
use
Supreme
that.
Court decision on the Colorado River.
Right.
And I was on the California side, so
yeah.
I can remember that vividly.
Yeah, so that was a struggle. Here we need to dispose of water. We have plenty of water. We just have to manage the disposal of the water, and so that is our limitation. Obviously, the Stones River is here, but the Stones River is not a major river, and so one of the ways that all municipalities deal with water, and is to replenish the water systems.
Correct.
And Stones River runs to Percy Priest, but where it runs through Murfreesboro and the Three Forks is not a major waterway, and so we have to manage that very carefully, and we do it very, very well. Darren Gore, who's assistant city manager and also manages Murfreesboro Water Resource Department, spends a tremendous amount of time making sure that system, both water intake and then the wastewater disposal, is done extremely well, and it is here. But there are limitations. One of the limitations that we face is the Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation is TDEC. Has a limitation on some of the streams that is different than the rest of the states around us, and we've been working with them to realize that standard. And I won't go into the science, not because I don't think you'd understand, just because I don't understand it all. So I'll avoid that, because Darren can do that very, very well, but I don't. But I will tell you, it's a standard that probably should be more consistent with the surrounding states as we grow, because we're growing so fast. And we're having trouble, TDEC, recognizing that, even though we think that from a environmental standpoint, we can still manage our water very, very well without having to run into that standard to limit our growth.
Well, I know today rain is predicted, but we are considered in a drought situation in Middle Tennessee right now.
Yeah.
When I think of drought, you and I have to think of California and Arizona.
Yes.
Now that's lack of water.
That's serious. Well, part of what contributes that, however, is the management of Percy Priest, which is done by the Corps of Engineers. And the Corps of Engineers has a set date that they will go to what they call their winter reserve, and that's much lower than the summer reserve, so they can handle the water as it comes in for the winter time. And they do release water out of Percy Priest over the dam, and on a schedule, and that schedule doesn't always line up with what the weather patterns are. So we have been dry. We could have, in theory, you could have managed the drought situation by holding on to the water that you use as your supply, without just, letting it flow down the river. But the Corps doesn't choose to manage Percy Priest that way. So that's some of the reasons why we're in what it could be labeled a drought situation. But it's not, technically. I think we could avoid that if we had done a little bit.
With your original undergraduate finance expertise, and certainly finance played a key role when you were an attorney in litigation and so forth. I want to get your take, as we did with the mayor last week, on the phenomenal results of the sale of the electric department to Middle Tennessee, and the management of the proceeds, and what that has done to the fiscal well-being, fiscal health, short-term and long-term, for the people of Murfreesboro.
Right. Well, it was, I think, a very successful merger of our relatively small electric department into a much, much larger system that's managed extremely well by Middle Tennessee Electric. So we had a great deal of confidence going into it that the citizens of Murfreesboro wouldn't see a detrimental effect either in service or in fees when that was merged, and there's a lot of calculations that go behind that, but we had a very high level of confidence going into it, and it got to a point where the investment that was required as we grew for our electrical system in the city, because we just served the boundaries of the city. There was a few thousand that didn't make sense for us to serve, made sense for Middle Tennessee and vice versa. But generally speaking, it was all of the city. And the investment and the upgrades needed in there are a lot more difficult for a small entity than it would be for a large entity. Because when you talk about utilities, and electrical is utility, the larger and the more spread out your very, very high fixed costs are, the easier they are to absorb by the end user. So, yeah, we recognized that, and Middle Tennessee was in a position to absorb our electrical system, and did a great job, has done a great job. And as a result of that, we created the Murfreesboro Community Investment Trust. And so we have a trust, and we have a trust board that's set up with some very excellent trustees that will manage that money well into the future. The payments from Middle Tennessee are structured over a period of 15 years, and I'm going to lose track here, 3 or 4 years into it.
Wow.
So they've made 3 or 4 payments so far, and part of that money will be invested and will grow well into the future, and then each year it will be dispersed, some going to the city, a substantial amount going to the city for its operations and to help pay its capital needs as we go forward, and some for contributions into the community.
For nonprofits.
And as a matter of fact, we have a committee of the trust made up of very good people, leaders in the community, who decide where those funds should go. We just closed at the end of, I think it was the end of October, we closed out the applications for that. And so they'll be reviewing those and making a determination of how we'll be funding nonprofits that benefit the community going forward.
Well, not too dissimilar of how you used to with HUD monies in terms, I can remember in terms of with the homeless, and went through the process with City of Murfreesboro, and it was very, very professional, very qualified, and very effective.
Yeah, and we still will take the HUD money that the federal government, and that's a process that follows the federal system. We also funded on the other side what we call our strategic partners. And some of those were quasi-governmental type of entities.
Sure.
They were doing things that we would do if they weren't there.
Correct.
The library,
It's a
the
partnership.
a partnership. Chamber of Commerce did a lot of economic development, so we funded those. But part of those were nonprofits that benefited people out in the community, and we funded those. About 3 or 4 years ago, we really started to push those into a much more structured program, so that there was a lot more accountability in where the money went, and they had to apply and tell us what they were going to use the money for, and then we would assess that as we move forward to make determinations in the future. And now we have shifted those strategic partnerships, the non-governmental nonprofit partnerships, to the trust, and allow the trust to fund that through a same program where they'll apply, and then we'll do accountability and assessments as we go
Well,
forward.
as much as we hear the negatives of inflation and we hear the negatives of mortgage rates, the one positive is the return on your investment has certainly gone from a less than a 0.1 to maybe 4, 5, 6%.
Yeah.
So your return has certainly been significant.
Well, it has, and we were a little concerned as we went into it when the rates were so low that we knew we would have this period of time before we were able to structure the entire trust from an investment side. And we're in that process right now. As a matter of fact, we're hiring an outsourced chief investment officer, a large company that does this for these types of entities. We're hiring those. We're going through the process of hiring those now. In the meantime, we have our money just parked into very low risk, because that's the point, is everything has to be extremely low risk, and low risk, which a few years ago basically didn't return anything, but now it's
showing some.
So the trust is benefiting from that.
I have to see how excited you are about the plans, dreams, and aspirations for the revitalization of downtown Murfreesboro.
Right. Well, downtown Murfreesboro is, there's a lot of interest in downtown Murfreesboro, I will tell you. A lot of, we've had people that have come in and taken a hard look at what we have, the opportunities that we have here for redevelopment of the downtown area. They really like the feel of downtown Murfreesboro, and we like to capture that and keep that, but recognize that there are some additional economic benefits from further growth. So we have right now plans for a large mixed-use development that is actually on the site where we are.
Right, right.
Yeah,
we'll be one of the first relocations.
Yeah, there will be a brand new building built, and then it'll be relocated, and we'll turn the switch off. And I say we, somebody that knows how to do it. Turn the switch off here, turn it on over there, and the radio station will not skip a beat. And then there'll be a substantial amount of redevelopment, including a hotel for downtown.
Right.
That will take place after that. Those type of projects are incentivized. We have what's called a tax incremental financing on that, or a TIF for short. And the TIF funds come from the property taxes that are paid when the development is created. So it's self-performing. They'll create property taxes. They'll pay their property taxes. We'll take out from the city and the county side the amount that is going to be reserved to pay existing debt, so that that's not
going to be carried over.
So there's quite a bit of income that will come into from both of them, and then rebated to the developers for infrastructure costs and for downtown parking garages. So
that is fantastic.
Yeah, you have to, from an urban redevelopment standpoint, the financing, the things that will stop financing is structured parking garages, because of the expense of those and the difficulty in capturing enough funds, revenue from that structured parking to make it pay off. And
are these anticipated to be free parking or metered parking? Or?
Well, I will tell you, and some people won't like to hear this, at some point in the future, and I don't know when that will be. It won't be tomorrow or anytime immediately, but parking in downtown Murfreesboro will require a fee, and that's like every other city that you go to that has population downtown, that there will have to be some structure to the parking and some revenues that will come in from the use of the land. If we're going to continue to use cars, which we are in this country, there's an expense that goes with it, and part of that is
where you put them.
Where you're going to put them. It takes up a lot of space, and it's very expensive.
We're having a wonderful conversation this Thursday morning with Craig Tindell, who has been the city manager of City of Murfreesboro, a gentleman who brings a great background and a great passion for what he does. And he's, he keeps the level ship right on course. And I think the city can be very proud and very grateful for Craig. We'll be right back, though. Stand by.
Medicare open enrollment is here. Do you want to sit down with someone and review your coverages for the upcoming year? We'd love to see you. Call Cover My Assets Insurance Group today so we can make an appointment for your policy review. Our services are free, and we can even come to you. We are a local agency that puts our community first. Find us on Facebook or visit our website at covermyassets.com. That's covermyassets.com.
Hi, this is Chip Walters with Exit Realty Bob Lamb & Associates. You might know me as the voice of the Blue Raiders, but I want to be your trusted advisor in real estate. Whether you're buying or selling, it's time to choose Chip. Do you have a growing family and need to upsize? Are you an empty nester now and need to downsize? Are you thinking of selling your current home but just worried you can't find something else? Well, it's time to choose Chip. I'm looking to be your trusted advisor in real estate. I'm Chip Walters with Exit Realty Bob Lamb & Associates.
Hey guys, if you notice a lack of energy, motivation, and drive, it could be low T. Be sure to schedule your health assessment at Low T Center. They offer the convenience of physician-monitored, self-inject, at-home testosterone treatments with an average payment of $150 a month, cash pay, including labs and medication. If you don't live near a Low T Center or just need the convenience of at-home treatment, Low T Center makes it easy, shipping treatments directly to you. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book your appointment online. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
In honor of veterans who've served in the armed forces, the City of Laverne will be holding our annual Veterans Day ceremony on November 11th at the Laverne City Hall on Murfreesboro Road. The ceremony will begin at 11 a.m. in the City Hall boardroom. We'll have guest speakers and we'll spend time honoring and thanking military personnel who made our country the great nation in which we live. Everyone is invited to be a part of this special event on the 11th at the Laverne City Hall on Murfreesboro Road.
Middle Tennessee football fans, are you ready to score big? We have an unbeatable ticket offer that will blow your mind. Experience the thrill of the game with sideline reserved seats for only $24 or end zone reserved seats for just $18. Join us inside Floyd Stadium for an unforgettable home MTSU football game. Don't miss out on this amazing opportunity to witness our favorite local team in action. Get your tickets now and be a part of the excitement. Head to goblueraiders.com/tickets to purchase yours and secure your spot at the game. Go Blue Raiders!
This is Good Neighbor Events with Bart Walker. Brought to you by AmeriCare Pest Control and the law offices of John Day.
This is a paid legal ad.
When a family member is lost as a result of someone else's negligence, the grief can be unbearable. It also leaves you with a lot of questions like, how did this happen? Who's responsible? And is my family going to be okay? That's a lot to go through, but with the law offices of John Day on your side, you don't have to go through any of it alone. We understand what you're going through, and we have the experience to get the answers, justice, and compensation your family deserves. Call the law offices of John Day.
Learn what's happening in our community. Stay with us on WGNS Good Neighbor Events. Greenhouse Ministries is getting ready for Thanksgiving. For those needing a Thanksgiving meal, you need to get your vouchers now at Greenhouse Ministries. And for those wanting to donate, drop off the frozen turkeys on Friday, November 17th, 6 in the morning until 6 in the evening. That's next Friday, not this one. The day after that, Saturday, November the 18th, that's when the families use the vouchers to pick them up. Your pickup time is on the voucher. Thank you, Greenhouse Ministries, always there. Are you grieving for the loss of a loved one? There are 2 free grief sessions here in the community. One is every Wednesday morning at 10 at the St. Clair Street Senior Center. That's Wednesday mornings at 10. The other is a walk, a morning walk, in the picnic shelter at Oakland's Park. That's next to Oakland's Mansion. Thursday mornings at 9:30. The Rutherford County Historical Society meets Saturday mornings from 9 until noon at the one-room Ransom Schoolhouse. Those are WGNS Good Neighbor events.
Good neighbor weather. We'll see a few scattered rain showers here for this afternoon. Cloudy skies, a high of 70 degrees. Then for tonight, a chance for rain, cloudy, low near 46. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on News Radio WGNS. Currently, it's 70.
Broadcasting from the Middle Tennessee Electric Studios, MTE has provided light, comfort, and connection to our community since 1936. As your trusted energy advisor, MTE is always here to help. Connect online or download the My MTE app.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and worldwide at WGNSradio.com.
Bill Kraus once again in the Roundtable on a Thursday morning on WGNS, and having a wonderful visit, very, very informative, with the city manager of the city of Murfreesboro, Craig Tindell. Craig, we were talking about downtown and all the excitement. I think it would really help, because people may not realize this, you need a certain amount of high density in an area that you're trying to develop as a point of a destination. Mm-hmm. And if downtown's going to be a destination, one of the first foundations of destination is to have people live in the area, can walk. Suddenly becomes retail, suddenly becomes restaurants that appeal initially to the people that are living within a block to 2 blocks of it. So you are seeing this as a multi-dimensional, multi-balanced downtown community.
Exactly, and that's what we've been working towards with our mixed-use developments. I mean, there's an old saying in city government is you can't run a city on rooftops, and you need to have the commercial development that goes with that to be able to provide all the services that the rooftops require, and rooftops drive where commercial is going to go. So without the rooftops, the commercial doesn't come. So there's a synergy there that's extremely important. And when you talk about a downtown area and a redevelopment of a downtown area, the expense of redevelopment is very high. The expense and the risk of redevelopment is very high. So it takes a lot for a developer to come in and take on that expense and that risk in doing it. So there are times where cities will need to step in and assist with that by either allowing through their codes and what's restricted in most areas to be a little more flexible on that to make things pay off, quite frankly, because nobody's going to do it unless it'll pay off. The banks aren't going to give money, the developers aren't going to take the risk, and ultimately we spend an enormous amount of time making sure that if we are assisting in any respect, either through code changing the codes or relaxing the codes, or assisting with financial type of incentive models that we can use, that it's a long-term payoff for the community, and there's a lot of benefits that come from that, both financially and then for the community for services and just a lifestyle choice.
Are you looking forward to the opening of Buc-ee's?
Yes, Buc-ee's My son went to Waco, to Baylor University in Waco, Texas.
Okay.
So Buc-ee's we were
home,
exposed to.
sure.
Yes, we were exposed to Buc-ee's, saw Buc-ee's. It's a pretty amazing type of development. When they announced, or they came and visited us and said we'd like to put one here, nobody here really knew what it was, and they said, well, I know what it is, and we need to work for it. Then they became familiar with it, and the one in Cookeville opened up, and people have been there, and they're pretty amazed. It's amazing what they can do in that. It's kind of fun to go to, and you think it's a giant gas station and a small store, and they have a lot of great food and everything else, and what's the attraction until you get there? And when you get there, you see this is kind of fun.
Well, it's the whole concept of entrepreneurism.
Right.
Come up with a new idea, come up with an idea that has excitement. Excitement has energy, and energy has results.
Right. And they've been as an organization, they've been very good to work with. And we're excited. They're moving dirt over there now. It'll pop up amazingly quick.
When do they anticipate opening?
And I've lost track now.
Okay.
We had dates that, for various reasons, kept changing.
Sure.
But after you move dirt, you can probably count on it somewhere between 16 to 24 months, somewhere in there on most development will get done. And I would anticipate they'd probably do it on the quicker side.
I'm sure that the addition of Costco into Murfreesboro has been not only a significant advantage to shoppers, but certainly revenue to the city.